What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and yeah, let's get straight into things. So you'll see I've cleared my charts again. This week is very difficult, so to speak. Price is going very sloppily lower, as you can see, and I do believe that Thursday and Friday is when we're going to see the most expansion and the most happen. So I am looking forward to tomorrow, but I'm just going to mark out a few things that I do want to bring our attention to. So we do still have this volume imbalance up here, although I doubt that price is going to trade back up into that now. I mean, it very well could. That's the thing right now. So I'm really in two minds because I can really argue both sides off the market at this point, which is not a good sign whatsoever. But generally speaking, you can see obviously we traded lower, closing below this low, and you'll see how we've just traded into this bearish order block as well, the open of that. So what I'm watching right now is I'm watching this bearish order block, and I want to see, can it provide resistance? More specifically, I'm looking at the volume of it, so this part right here, and I'm going to make this black. And if so long as price continues to respect that, so long as price stays below this bearish order block, I can imagine we're going to see quite a large expansion to the downside and start running down into sell stops below here, and just start to try and start fill it, and then we'll probably see price start to try and fill this range right here. Now, the reason price is so difficult right now, let me just show you on the 4 hour, is you can see that we are still consolidated, and although we had this nice break lower, you can see how deeply we retraced, which wasn't ideal. Now, don't get me wrong, in yesterday's video I did bring our attention to this fair value gap, saying that I wanted to see it get this see it provide resistance, and we traded through that. So now I'm just kind of in two minds with how price is going to respond, and to be honest, I probably won't be doing anything or touching the markets until Friday. But anyway, you can see I've now marked out the midpoint of the volume of that daily order block. I'll just show you that now again real quick. So that this is that daily order block. I've marked out the midpoint, and then moving into tomorrow again, I'm going to be watching the 50% level of this to provide resistance. Now, why am I doing that? Well, if price trades through that and we're seeing price push higher, then it is likely we are going to feel that daily imbalance. But as far as I'm concerned, I do want to see price trade lower, which is why I'm willing to let it trade up to here as a very as like a limit, as the highest I want to see price go, for us to then send price lower and run for these lows down here. Another thing to take note of is there is a breaker in a very ugly fashion. We have a high, a low, a higher high, and if we look at the last down close candle, you'll see how that lines up perfectly with the daily bearish order block we have highlighted in black. So that's another reason I'd expect price to find resistance there, assuming we are bullish and this is a change in the state of delivery. I'm not fully convinced yet, purely because there is this imbalance up here and price can very well trade to it. But yeah, these are really disgusting conditions right now. Definitely not going to be too hard on myself. But moving into tomorrow, I do expect this high to get taken, and like I said, I am expecting this range to get traded into, but that would be the highest I'd want to see price trade if we're going to see a large displacement on the high impact news. Now, there is very high impact news on Thursday and Friday. I think we have growth rate alongside jobless claims, maybe an employment rate, I can't remember. But what I'm saying is that it is a high impact week, so I wouldn't be surprised if we did see us rally until that, and then we started to see really aggressive displacement to the downside. So definitely keep an eye on that. And yeah, I'm just hoping that this consolidation manages to provide the resistance it needs, because looking at all this, you can see how much back and forth price action there is, right? Meaning that if price is to trade through this, it's going to need a lot of it's going to need some kind of driver to get price through it, and news can do that, which is why I'm saying price could still reach for this. However, I'm saying that so long as we see resistance and continued resistance, there's no reason we should anticipate price to trade back through it, and we should, like I said, hopefully start looking for this sell side liquidity to get targeted. But honestly, my accuracy this week, not ideal. You can see how consolidated we still are and how we're just filling in ranges. So we're just waiting at this point. I'm just waiting for price to leave the range for me to be more comfortable with price expectations. One thing to take note of as well, though, is we have taken out this low, right? So with this low, I brought our attention to last week, and we did just about take it out. We tapped into it on Tuesday. The fact we've taken out that low is a bearish signature, because this low shouldn't have got to. If we were going to trade higher, I wouldn't have wanted to see that low get taken out, and the fact we've taken out that low is another reason I'm looking at this now, what we're seeing as a retracement. So again, it's a matter of X and Y. Like if X happens, then we expect Y. So because we've taken out that low, then I'm expecting retracement to then send price lower, which is another reason I'm looking into tomorrow for shorting on opportunities on dollar with longs on the pairs. But yeah, it's just a matter of waiting. Definitely not going to be too hard on myself, because look at this. This is not clean at all. But it should be quite interesting to say the least. So that's my expectations moving into tomorrow. Hope that all makes sense. Let's go to the daily on pound, and you'll see how we traded higher again, slowly pressing higher. We've created a fair value gap. We did actually trade to the levels I brought our attention to in yesterday's video, so make sure to go watch that if you haven't already. But if you recall, and let me just get this drawn out for us, I did bring our attention to the 25% level of here, and you'll see how we traded down to that and got a lovely reaction off of it, just as anticipated. Now, do not get me wrong, I was expecting more of a strong reaction away from it, as in I would have liked to see us run out these highs, but we didn't quite do that today, which is completely fine. But it's nice to see our price came to our level and then responded to it accordingly, which is what I wanted to see. So moving into tomorrow, again, we're going to have some buy stops above here to get traded into, assuming we're bullish, and then running up to here as well as a potential target for price. In terms of the lowest I want to see price go, again, preferably price doesn't even bother go back below this order block. I'd like to think it can provide the support it needs. Let's go to the 1 hour, take a better look. You'll see there's a slight consolidation, and we did actually take out this low. The fact that this low has taken out this low says to me that price shouldn't need to come back down here. So instead, I'd be simply looking at the last bullish order block, which is here, lined up with this fair value gap. So in terms of tomorrow's lows, I'd like to look at this to provide that. Again, price very may well just trade right through it and do its own thing, which is fine. But what I'm looking for is for price to respect this fair value gap and then trade into it. And then I'd like to think a setup could form for us to start running for the buy stops above here, and then potentially into these highs up here, depending on how aggressive price wants to be. But honestly, again, this is an X and Y situation. The fact that we've grabbed stops below this low today, with this low, says to me that we should continue to see higher prices now, because if we are to go lower now, I think it'd go considerably lower. So there are other factors as well. I am going to speak about that in a separate video, I believe, as to why I want to see higher pound, such as the commitment of traders and such. But overall, we have a nice 15-minute fair value gap that's formed right here, which seems like a perfect setup for us to go long from. And again, a nice target up here. But let's say if this low didn't take out this low, my bias probably would be different in that sense, and I would state that price could still come down here to accumulate stops. But the fact that we did take out this low is saying to me, okay, we've grabbed stops, we have another break shift in market here, we're taking out this high. Yes, we retrace back to the original order block, but you can see our price is continuously respecting bullish PD arrays. So the next retracement, which I believe will be to this 15-minute, is what I'm looking for price to trade to. We also have a nice up close candle, which can act similar to a breaker. Let's see if we can identify a breaker. Ugh, look at that, disgusting. But again, low, high, lower low. So I'm looking at this up close candle as a breaker. So for price to come down here would be completely normal to accumulate longs to again potentially offset up here. So that's my expectations moving on pound. It was nice to see that pound respected our analysis, just not to the extent we wanted. And finally, let's finish up on Euro USD. So you'll see Euro had quite a weird day, closed lower, but it was created a doji basically, traded into this bullish order block. Not had the reaction I wanted. I am watching this bullish order block quite closely, as I do believe price may want to reach down into that. If that's the case, I'd expect a strong reaction to send price higher. Remember, I had this fair value gap marked out in yesterday's video as a draw for price. And then if we go down to the 4 hour, we'll see just weird price action in general. So again, this is the bullish order block on the daily, right? We have lows down here, so price may want to swing down below there, accumulate buy stops to then offset into our fair value gap and potentially above this swing high, which would be ideal. So moving into tomorrow, what am I expecting? I'm going to be paying close attention to this low and this level right here, where I'd like to be buying from. We also have kind of like a breaker. We have a low, a high, a lower low. It's not very clean, but the last up close candle regardless, I'm drawing that out, and there's an implied fair value gap right here. So this is the lowest I want to see price trade. As far as I'm concerned, if price trades through this, we're going to get lower prices. So long as price respects this and stays within it, I'm happy to be bullish into here. And I'll apply the same logic to GBP USD. So long as price respects this fair value gap pretty much, I'm happy to be long. Any lower than that, like once we start digging into this order block at a significant, like, let me show you. So once we start digging below the 50% level of this order block, I'll probably stay out and I'll probably be expecting lower prices. And then with dollar, the same again. So long as price respects a 50% level, preferably of this range, I'm happy to be bearish. So you can see the factors which I'm taking into account for my analysis. Remember, these are very ugly conditions, but like I said, I do believe after Thursday, the markets are going to be much looser, and I might even drop a video on Friday just explaining some more macro analysis that I've recently done as to why price is going to respond how it does if it goes according to plan. So yeah, that's pretty much everything, guys. Make sure to join the Discord. I'm active in there. Smash subscribe. Again, welcome to all my new subscribers. Smash the like button, and I hope you found this insightful, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.